Are we down to talk some Chargers ball? Prop Beaver, before you get started, why don't you get a Chargers win total poll going? And I'll give them the rundown. Obviously, lead story with the Chargers would be all the wide receivers are gone. All the wide receivers you once knew and loved with this Chargers team are no longer there. Keenan Allen is gone. Mike Williams is gone. It's going to be up to the likes of Joshua Palmer and maybe Quentin Johnson, who I actually on ESPN, Quentin Johnson is listed as wide receiver 4. But like, who cares what's listed on ESPN? But I just thought that was funny. So Mike Williams gone, Keenan Allen gone. Prop Beaver. Naturally, let's let them get the poll going. But naturally, we as fans, we overvalue the wide receiver position, right? Because they catch the touchdowns. They're on our fantasy teams. And we know that wide receiver is one of the most interchangeable positions as far as what it translates to win-loss wise. So normally, for example, what I'm saying is normally when a star wide receiver is out, you're going to get a point or two of value on the other side because people are going to perceive it as more of a loss than it actually is. Mm-hmm. That being said, I mean, those Chargers, those two guys, Mike Williams and Keenan Allen, they were such a huge part of the Chargers offense. Or do you think it was Justin Herbert that make them look that way?
Yeah, I think it's pretty hard to say that because, I mean, Keenan Allen had a reputation of being a baller well before Justin Herbert came along. I mean, Keenan Allen was phenomenal with Phillip Rivers for years and years and years. So he kind of made Justin Herbert, I feel, who he is, along with Mike Williams. So I don't really go ahead and think that Justin Herbert is just going to go ahead with this weaponry of Ladd McConkey and Joshua Palmer and Quentin Johnston and just go ahead and still operate as this top 5, top 10 quarterback that everybody still perceives him to be. I know that he is operating with a top 5, top 10 offensive line, and that is something to definitely be excited about, but the weaponry definitely is concerning to me. I mean, who's going to be the main coverage beater on this team? Keenan Allen, phenomenal man coverage beater. Mike Williams, a guy that you could just lob it up to in the end zone, and he's going to beat that guy. He's going to attack the ball at the point of attack, and he's going to bring that thing down. Who the hell on this offense is doing that now? And then not only that, but they bring in the running backs. You got Gus Edwards, who had a mystery offseason surgery. Nobody knows what surgery this man had, but he's coming off of offseason surgery.
What do you mean mystery?
Nobody knows what surgery this dude had.
Somebody knows.
I'm sure he knows.
No, I mean, he had a surgery. Jim Harbaugh doesn't know what the surgery is. Multiple people in the organization don't know what the surgery is, but he had surgery.
Jim Harbaugh doesn't know what the surgery is.
I mean, when people asked him, he's like, "Nope, I don't know what surgery is."
That seems concerning.
Yeah, because Jim Harbaugh's never lied.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, very trustworthy guy, but he already had an injury 2 years ago. I believe he had a similar injury to Dobbins. And then guess what? Mr. Dobbins himself, coming off an Achilles injury.
A killer.
God, I slurred my words there. He tore his ACL himself, I believe, a year or two ago. So you got one of the worst skill position cores in all of football, a fantastic offensive line, and then Justin Herbert, who has plantar fasciitis, by the way. That's going to be bothering him the entire season. I just feel like the offense has to take a pretty decent step back, and it wasn't even that great already last season.
I mean, it's kind of hard to argue with the Chargers offense taking a step back, but a step back, like you just said, it wasn't even that good last year. Last year, I mean, it's kind of hard to take these numbers seriously because of all the time that Justin Herbert missed. But I mean, even Justin Herbert's passing numbers, I mean, against man coverage, 24th in yards per attempt, 14th in EPA per dropback. When pressured, he's 9th in passer rating, 23rd in yards per attempt. Oh, I'm sorry, that's when kept clean. But what I'm saying is, the Chargers passing numbers as a whole look like shit, obviously, because of Easton Stick playing for a lot of the games. But even Justin Herbert, when he was playing, wasn't looking great. So what you're saying, you expect the Chargers offensive line to be top 5, you said?
I expect the offensive line to be phenomenal, but that's it. I mean, and then on top of that, the offensive coordinator hire, what the hell is that? how does that fit this offense at all whatsoever? I mean, Greg Roman is basically just been a guy who's created these like simple offensive plans that are pretty much oriented around creating these run games, that are not only created, what is it? I'm trying to like get my words together. They operate not only around running with the running backs, but they operate around these dual threat quarterbacks as well. Well, Justin Herbert is not a dual threat quarterback. If anything, I feel like this is going to stunt his growth. So I feel like the offensive coordinator hires absolutely horrible. The running backs that he's going to be using are probably the worst of his career. I just don't understand this at all. So don't really love the offensive side of the ball. Sorry about fumbling my words there, guys.
It's all right. I will say that in a lot of cases, all you need is an offensive line and a quarterback, and then the rest of the pieces just kind of fall into place.
Okay.
So maybe it's not quite as bad as we think, although I think we all definitely expect a drop off on that side of the ball. Andy, any thoughts on the Chargers offense before you switch it over to the defense?
Pretty much just to like go through what you guys said, I do agree. I'm not crazy about this team's passing attack. I will say they brought in kind of like minimal guys. Like, I mean, Ladd McConkey, I think, is going to be a slot guy. His whole career, he's a smaller guy. Brendan Rice is the same way. He was a 7th round pick, so you don't even know if he's going to make the team. DJ Chark, kind of similar to those guys. So, like, I don't really love the pass attack. You said the O-line. I mean, they were good pass blocking last year, and they took a O-line in the first 5 picks, if I'm not mistaken. I think they took Joel Alt from Notre Dame. Very good. Yeah, so, like, they did pretty well there, I guess. But yeah, I don't really see it from their offense. I mean, Greg Roman's with the same 2 running backs he had in Baltimore his past few years, right? He had J.K. I mean, Dobbins was always hurt, but he had Gus Edwards. Maybe he knows how to use him better than anybody. But I mean, even then, like, what are you really getting from him? So, like, this offense is just a significant step back.
And something I want to bring up real quick. Everybody keeps talking about how this O-line is going to be good. And something that I guess I was ignorant to until right now. Everybody keeps talking about how this is going to be a great O-line. I guess they must strictly be talking about the pass blocking, because look at the pass blocking grades. 11th in adjusted sack rate, 13th in pass blocking grade. Obviously, they missed a few snaps last year. I forgot who got injured. Pretty key piece of that offense got injured last year as well. Just blanking on the name. Don't want to carry on the show. Look at the run blocking grade, 31st and 27th in adjusted line yards. So you have a good pass blocking line, right? But you don't really have great weapons. And then you have a terrible run blocking O-line. And you have a old and aging Gus Edwards with a mystery injury and J.K. Dobbins coming off an Achilles injury. I mean, I don't know. If you're not really creating much of a run game to offset the pass game, does it matter that your pass protection's that great? I mean, you could just send the house after Justin Herbert.
I can see that kid, Vidal, getting some looks.
Oh, yeah.
Kid from Troy. He's on the Chargers.
I mean, at a point, they may just have to give it to him if he has the burst.
Yeah, he's got the burst. He can run.
He might have the most burst on the team already by default.
Yes, that's like a sleeper.
You can almost chalk up J.K. Dobbins getting missing games.
Well,
so like,
J.K. Dobbins, we all know his injury history. Gus Edwards, who apparently has a mystery surgery that not even his own doctor, his doctor,
not even the surgeon who did it.
His doctor was blindfolded doing the surgery. Doctor doesn't even know what he did. Mystery surgery. So tell me, late sleeper pick. If you're like one of my leagues, I mean, it's like a deep keeper league. Tell me Vidal isn't a steal at the end there. Yeah, but it's got to be a deep league. It's got to be a deep league. All right. And the run blocking numbers is weird. But I mean, it kind of makes sense because all of Eckler's production in that offense was not like just a traditional handoff. It was catching the ball out of the backfield or getting the ball in space. To be fair, some kind of misdirection.
The run blocking hasn't been great for him. I also think he stinks. So there's that. So.
All right. So
defense.
Yeah,
Let's talk about this defense.
And all right, real quick. Is there any hope here for the Chargers defense? I mean, we saw the Chargers defense over the last 2-3 years can be described in one word: failure, because they had the head coach, right? They had the what the frick? What the
defensive specialist, Mr. Staley.
They had the defensive specialist coach who brought in a ton of talent. You remember all the guys they signed? They signed that corner from the Patriots. They signed Khalil Mack,
J.C. Jackson.
Yeah, they brought in all this talent, And granted, they were injured, but that was just such a failure. And is there anything left from last year's defense to even have some hope? If you're a Chargers fan, let's say you're an optimistic Chargers fan. What is your take on the defense? If you're looking for a positive.
If you're looking for a positive, you could say, okay, well, Khalil Mack was getting busy last season. Let me try and pull up his total number of sacks last year.
They do have still Mack and Bosa, and they still do have some pieces in the secondary.
I mean, yeah, so Khalil Mack was 4th in sacks last year. The dude had 17 sacks. It was 4th in the NFL. And let me go ahead and try and pull up Joey Bosa real quick. He had only 6.5 sacks. How many games?
He missed a bunch of time. Yeah.
This fuck doesn't play any games any year. What is wrong with this guy? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, he had 6.5 sacks in 8 games. I mean, that's a pretty good pace right there. So when those two guys were on the field, they were incredibly impressive. If you're a optimistic Chargers fan, then you probably take the Jabbo route. You say, hey, our offensive line is really good and our defensive line is really good. So
I like the secondary. The problem, okay, so the Chargers.
And do we live on the same planet? What secondary? What secondary do we like?
Some pieces. Derwin James, Asante Samuel Jr., Kristian Fulton's not
Asante Samuel Jr. is old name. He's not a good corner. I'm sorry. I hate to say that. I really hate to shit on him, but he's not a good corner.
You're excited to shit on him.
Yeah, he's not a good corner in the NFL. He's not a good corner in the NFL. He's a mediocre corner in the NFL. Just check the PFF ratings. Check everything else. Mediocre corner in the NFL. Opposite him is Kristian Fulton. I'm happy to shit on him. He's absolutely awful. One of the worst corners in the NFL, I would go ahead and say. The past few seasons with the Tennessee Titans, the fact that he's starting still is absolutely amazing to me. So that's incredible. So for you to say you like the secondary blows my mind because I don't trust the secondary at all. Derwin James, he's the Justin Herbert of all-purpose safeties, supremely overrated. So I just.
What did the Chargers have? What did the Chargers do to you, bro?
Where did they touch you, dude?
Where have they touched me? I've been riding them the past 3 years, trying to be optimistic about them, and every single year they've broken my heart. So I hate to say it, but listen.
So you're a lover scorned with the Chargers.
I'm a lover.
You're a lover scorned.
No, it's really not that. But let's go ahead and look at this pass rush. If you're relying on the pass rush to overcompensate for this weak defense, right? Let's go ahead and look at who the sacks were for Khalil Mack last year. All right, he had 6 sacks against Aiden O'Connell in his first NFL game. 2 of them were against Zach Wilson. 2 of them were against Bailey Zappi. And then we had one off of Jared Stidham, one off of Blaine Gabbert. Okay, so that's 6, 2, 2, 2. 12 of this guy's 17 sacks were off some of the worst quarterbacks that you will ever see play in your entire life. Guy wasn't even sacking real quarterbacks. Now he's going to face hopefully a better quarterback schedule this season. I just simply don't see it. I think this Chargers defense is really, really, really bad. I think the only thing that this entire team has going for it is a really good pass protection and Justin Herbert. But with his plantar fasciitis, if that's going to be bothering him the entire season, then this team is a pile of shit. With Jim Harbaugh leading the train, overrated, cheater himself. And that's the only reason we're catching this at 8.5 with juice to the over. So, I mean, I think you could tell what I'm on. Do you have any thoughts on the defense besides the secondary, which I think you're dead wrong on?
I didn't say it was good. I'm just saying if you the question was phrased, if I'm an optimistic Chargers fan.
You shouldn't be optimistic if you're Chargers fan.
See, that's the thing. I can't imagine it. I can't imagine such a thing. What's to be optimistic about? I guess that Jim Harbaugh's your coach, but like he's a cheater. Like what the hell did he?
He's a good coach. He's a cheating son of a bitch, but he's a good coach.
He's a cheating son of a
bitch.
He's a cheating son of a bitch.
He's a very good coach.
He's a cheating son of a bitch.
In the comments, they're talking about PFF being shit. Yeah, PFF is good for a lot of tools though, like snap counts. Sometimes it's really
PFF grade is definitely, you can argue that it's good or bad. Okay, listen, if you want to say that Asante Samuel Jr.'s PFF grade is shit, yay or nay, okay, yeah. But there's a lot of other metrics I used on that site to tell me that Asante Samuel Jr. is very overrated.
I don't think anybody that really uses PFF goes on there to look at like the grades. Like, what's his defense grade? Like
Yeah,
that's like Madden rating. Like who gives a shit?
I personally listen. I'm Asante Samuel Jr. If you look at the Chargers secondary numbers every year, it shows me that Asante Samuel Jr. It's not him. So, yeah.
It's very useful for like offensive line snap counts. You could see because sometimes like if a left guard leaves a game in the second quarter, like you won't even really know that. Like sites like that, PFF, there's a few of them that will keep. You could see the snap counts and they'll tell you which snaps. So you can see if like of offensive line, they lose 2 pieces in the second quarter, and then
I want to give some credit to Chad Cuba here. He says you can. Well, the comment got moved a bit because of our weird thing going on here. It says you could put a knock on Harbaugh, but you can't say that he doesn't win wherever he goes. That is true, but it's because of that same exact reasoning that we're getting him to get a losing record on the season at plus 127 with a really bad and not talented roster. Now, what is going to make this hard is the schedule. Should we go look at the schedule, Kyle? Because we've talked about this. This thing is a cake.
Yeah, they have the cupcake schedule. They play a Mountain West schedule.
They do play a Mountain West schedule. All right, so let me try and pull this up real quick. Okay, so 1 second, folks. Bear with me. I'll try not to breathe into the mic. Okay.
All right, Chargers schedule. Prop Beaver's pulling it up on the screen, but it is, I mean, they open up Raiders, Panthers. Ugh.
It's lucky bastards.
Also, there's like a revenge angle with the Raiders because the last time they played them, the Raiders hung like 70 points on them. So like there's that too. I mean, you got to think that the Chargers probably win their opener at home against the Raiders. At Carolina. Well, you know what though? At Carolina, I don't know, actually. The Panthers defense at home is different. Panthers defense is finally healthy.
No, not anymore. Not anymore.
Yeah, Bryce Young's
we'll
gonna be
talk
on his
about it
ass the whole
soon.
game,
Not
too.
anymore. After what they did this offseason, that Panthers defense is a pile of shit. They completely just gutted their defense and invested all of it into the offense. So, nope, that defense is done. There's no defense.
Okay.
There is no defense. There is no defense.
All right, let's go on to, let's say, you're saying 2-0 then?
They could go 3-0 to start the year. This is fucked up.
Loss, Steelers are going to run the football all over the Chargers.
Deal.
At Chiefs loss. At Denver.
Bo Nix will be starting by then. Going to Denver.
Are the Broncos gonna be able to run the ball this year?
I think Javonte, second year off an ACL. God, they lost an O-lineman though. Their best one. Fuck. Yeah.
Give them one of those 2 games.
Sure.
All right, yeah. Let's give them one of the Denver and Arizona. They'll take one and they'll drop one. That's fair.
Okay.
So that puts them at 4 wins.
And then they have back-to-back losses.
So home against the Saints, bro. Now we'll give them a loss there. So that 1, 2, 3.
They'll beat Tennessee at home.
1, 2, 4 wins. 5. Tennessee would be 5 wins. Cincinnati lost. Baltimore lost. At Atlanta lost.
Kyle, I'm just gonna tell you now. I'm taking the under no matter what. I don't care.
At Kansas City lost.
Yeah, we could count up 9, 10 wins.
Yep.
I'd still probably be on the under as well.
Home Tampa Bay, they'll win. The Bucs can't run the ball.
Nope.
They're gonna force the pass it. So that's 6. Home Denver win 7. At New England and at Las Vegas, if they take one of those, that's 8. It's got to be under. But what? I feel like this line is begging us to take the under. Who cares?
That's the thing though. It's hard to view that because it's either you could look at it as, oh, this team was so bad last year and now they have this total so high. What the hell? Or you could look at it as Harbaugh never loses and now they have this total at 8.5. Like what the hell?
Yeah.
So
but under.
I don't know. All right, let me set that up for you across the board. I didn't have the temp set up real quick, so let me just get that going. Andy, do you want me to put up under for you too?
Oh yeah, this is an under. I'll relish in it too.
This guy's horned up.
Andy called Harbaugh a quote unquote cheating son of a bitch.
He is. Look,
he is.
I mean, that's what he is.
He not?
He is for what I mean. He just got a 4-year show cause, which is basically a don't hire me type tag. in college football, and it wasn't even related to the cheating scandal that they're still investigating. So like, this guy's gotten caught multiple times. That's why he left for the Chargers. I think the Chargers are in a better position with him, but that's not saying much. Brandon Staley sucked.
Yeah.
Unders across the board. All right, let's talk some college ball. Prop Beaver, get the hell off the screen. Unless you want to stick around for college.
No. I got nothing.
Talk some San Jose State.
All right, we got to adjust my my aura over here. Somebody said I look pale. I've been out all fucking summer. Well, I don't want to hear it.
No, the current